She was more than a mom to me. She was like a best friend, and maybe to all my sisters, but I know she was to me. She was also a neighbor in Texas, as was Vicki, and Darlene. So that was special, because when she lived up north and we lived down south, we didn't see each other that much, except on special occasions, birthdays, funerals, weddings, that type of thing. So that was special in Texas, to spend that much time with my mom and dad. She was also the person I called when I needed a confidant or I needed an opinion. Not that she would always give it to me, but still someone I could do that with. And if I couldn't remember a recipe, she was the person that could always help me, because she had a lot that she didn't write down. And I was probably gonna have to borrow hers. She was the person I'd go shopping with, especially in Texas, with Vicki and Nola and her. But she always took care of my dad before she'd go shopping. She either had to be home to make dinner, or she'd make dinner before she left. Because she always made sure she took care of him. We laughed a lot. Vicki and Nola could make her laugh like nobody I've ever seen. Because in the last 2 years, she didn't laugh like she laughed before. She loved to dance with my dad, and we got to do a lot of that in Texas, but through her life, they always had a lot of party friends and snowmobile club and all kinds of different parties, and I was lucky enough to spend a lot of that time with them, but especially when we went to Texas. We all got to travel a lot, a couple cruises together, went to Vegas twice together, and my mom told me I cured her insomnia, but she would never go to Vegas with me again. So that was fun. But she was my 1-800 helpline. But if I couldn't reach her, I did call Karen. So my mom was also very proud that she kept her weight off for so long, because so many years she worked, and that's me too. But she reached it and she kept it off, and she always liked to tell everybody how healthy she was. And she never had to take pills, and when she watched me take mine, she told me, I only take calcium, so I don't think you need those. And she was always on my dad about eating right, and because she didn't want him to die before her. So, and so together they were always eating healthy meals. They made sure they had their meat, their potato, their veggie. And whenever we went to visit, we always ate good meals. So I always remember that. And my mom loved clothes, as Karen mentioned. And she loved nice clothes. She always looked put together. She always had matching jewelry. She also had matching shoes. And we now all have been, my sisters, we have been, what is the word? I don't know. We've actually now seen all these. I used to go shopping and I never understood where all these great clothes were going. But we found them. She was a very organized person, but the clothes, she has many closets and many places she hid them in tubs. And so that we found them. She's an organized, what's that word? Organized?
Hoarder.
Hoarder.
Organized clutter.
Yes, yes. So I miss her. I'm gonna miss her for that. But as through the last 2 years, she's talked about her love for her sisters and her love for her daughters and her love for her husband. And my dad was with her throughout. This is gonna be the hard part. And this is the part you guys didn't get to know. My dad never left her side. He was always there. And he would call her out. And we were all there too. We were there for my mom. She was tough and brave. Matter of fact, she almost left the first year, but she didn't. And she made it up to next year. And we thought, we were all looking for a longer time, and we got it for a year. This last time, not so lucky. And she had her sisters come up, and it was tough, and I hope nobody ever has to go through that, because it'll rip your heart out. But I love my mom, as all of us do. That's all. Anybody else? Joel, you have anything?
Not now. Well, I got a funny one.
Okay.
All right. When I was in Texas with your mom, she took me, all of us, we all went, Vicki went, and I don't think you were there, but Nola was not there at that time, but we went, and your mom said, we're gonna go to this place, it's gonna be in a warehouse. And she said, there's piles of clothes, and I'm like, okay. I've seen piles of clothes on tables and stuff, you know. We walked into this warehouse, and there was a pile of clothes as high as this room, and as big around as this room. And I walked in there, and I was like, I'm not finding anything in there. But I climbed, it was hilarious. I climbed the pile, we laughed so hard. Climbed that pile of clothes, and we're all just pulling stuff out, trying to find, I found the bedspread, and I did find some stuff, but it was hilarious. And that was one of the most fun memories I remember with your mom when her shopping, was a warehouse and a pile of clothes. There was many piles of clothes, not just one. There was lots of piles of clothes.
Yeah.
Do you remember doing that? Oh my God, that was so funny.
Roper climb.
There was.
Roper is closed and it's a big pile, so roper climb.
Right.
Rupa.
Yeah.
That's really fun memories.
Vicki, did you? She's gonna try.
She's gonna try.
Yeah, she was my best friend. The early years, though, I don't remember much of them. She was 10 and a half when I was born. Then she carried me around a lot, and I am responsible for her big hips. She said that often. And we just didn't have anything in common, just being so far apart, until I got married. I remember calling her up, I was doing a good recipe, and I said, it says sugar in here. Is that white sugar or brown sugar? Because I didn't know. And she was stunned for a moment. She said, I think if it doesn't say, it's white sugar. And then we started on from there. And through kids and everything, she watched me. I watched her kids. Her kids watched my kids. And my kids watched their kids. We just kind of cycled it down. But we had so much in common after that. Between us, books, you just would not believe. And her in West Branch, I don't know if anybody else doesn't read up there or what, but she could get the bestsellers every week that she was there. Larry and I'd go up, and she'd have probably 8 to 10 of them. And look at this one, and I'd read them all through, and I'd have to write down the ones, and I'd come back at Davison, and I'd wait for 6 weeks to get these same books that she had up there. But it worked out so well because our husbands got along, and we would go up there, and they would go fishing. They could go fishing all day, which was just fine with us because we could go shopping all day. And they had that outlet up there. And we would go in there, and sometimes Nola was with us, and we'd hit, was it Dress Barn in there? And they knew us by name by the time we left. And they were so happy to see us come back soon, you know? And that was wonderful. And then we go to Texas together, and the same thing, we'd go to dances, and she was like she was a sister, but she was a teacher to me. She was always helping me with things and telling me how to do certain things. She was the big sister, she knew this stuff. And she had a memory like I couldn't believe, you know, she always knew when the program was coming on, or when this was supposed to happen, or we were supposed to do this, what day was that. She always knew that. And now, there's a hole. That can't be filled. So Noah and I are gonna have to work it out. I will say one more thing. Jesse was there through all of her hard times with this. We could not get him to leave the house for anything. He did not go anywhere but by her side.
Yeah, we're definitely learning. My mom was a lot like Grandma. She could pack a cupboard and a closet like no tomorrow. When I walked in, when you guys had Grandma's dishes all over, I was like, where were those? And one thing that I saw, my mom collected business cards. And like when you get one from your doctor and it gives you the appointment on it, after you go, you throw it away. Not my mom, she kept them all. She'd have 10 Dr. Winstons, her PA, with all the appointments, because why would you throw that away? But so there were a stack of them, and as I was going through, I was reminded of all the different tests and doctor's appointments and things she went through. And she did 2 years of all these things to stay alive, to be with us. She was a real warrior. She fought so hard. And those cards just kept reminding me that I was there with her. And that she tried to stay with us. But God had different thoughts because she was in such pain. And she's gone now, and she's out of pain. And we all got each other. And we all need to keep strong and boost each other up. But another thing, on a funnier, happier note, no matter how sick my mom got, she kept her little quippy sense of humor. And one thing, I think I've shared this with a lot of you, my dad said, you know, she was sick one day, we came home, and he said, yeah, I married a younger woman so she could take care of me when I got older. And she looked over at him, she said, how's that working out for you? So, you know, even in her sickness and everything, she still tried to be funny and make us all laugh. So she gave us a lot of lessons to stay strong and just try to fight on and do the best you can and live life with no regrets. And I'll miss her. I got that hole. But I'm hoping all of you can help me fill it.
Don't look at me, I'm a crybaby.
Well, on one happy note, when we were in the park, on Candace's son's graduation, we were also happy to see her when she came to his open house. So the three of us were together, Vicki and Annesta now. And we took pictures of the three of us together, because that's what we wanted, one last picture with all of us. And we got around the trees, and I said to her, let's get the three of us together, and I'll get in the middle. She said, you're not getting in the middle. I said, well, I'm the middle child, so I should be in the middle. She said, you're not getting in the middle. She pushed me out of the way. And I said, yeah, I want in the middle so it can be the three of us. So you're the oldest, I'm the middle one, and Vicky's the youngest one. Well, she pushed me right out of the way. And we kind of laughed about it, you know, and everything, and she just to the ground. So I just tucked my head in like this and Candace took a picture of the three of us, but she was being so stubborn and she laughed. It was just a joke, you know, she just laughed about it. But that's the last time we were together, and it was kind of fun, you know, the three of us together, and Larry and Vicky were there, and Jess and Annesta, and everybody was happy to see her out and about, you know, because she never got out like that. So that was a joyous time for all of us to be together like that.
Janice, anything? Okay, well,
One of my grandma's best skills, because my grandpa's out of control a lot of times, one of her best skills is corralling him, giving him guardrails, you know? And so I think in my head, I always hear, Jesse, Jesse! And she denied it, that she ever said that. I told Grandma, I said, Grandma, you know, you used to always do it. Whenever he got out of control, said something silly, Jesse, I never did that. I never said that. I never did that. But somebody had to keep my grandpa in line. Because he will go off in that direction if you allow.
The drunk dance.
the drug dance, the dog call. Well, I will say this, right, the day before she left, she was still trying to cover her mouth when she coughed, so she went as a lady. The nurse couldn't believe it. Still trying to cover her mouth when she coughed, like she told us to do our whole life. Well, I know Karen and Dad and sisters, we all thank you for coming. And you are the immediate family. So, we're all gonna miss her, so. Karen, you wanna say anything else?
Thanks for coming, everybody, and,
If you're in the area, I won't be unhappy if you drop in and see me. It gets lonesome without
I
that
think
one.
it is when we come to these things. She's supposed to be sitting
Well, Jesse,
there.
I've lived out of town for so long, it's never felt like a complete trip unless I've seen all three of the sisters. So I'll make sure I'll stop by and see you when I'm in town, so I have a complete trip.
Thank you.
Hey, if you ride this car, you don't even have to steer it.
I saw that up right out at Captain's, place.
Take a picture of this.
Fish dinner Fridays.
I'll bring you some hootie,
You called it, come over and get it.
I'll bring you some hootie from Kentucky.
Yeah, bring some of that, beer from Cincinnati.
He doesn't drink beer.
Hey, Debbie, on a different note, and I know it's probably easier for all of you guys down here because you're all close together and it makes it a little bit easier, but when we were talking about this, the last time we had seen a lot of the people that are here was for our son's wedding. And that was I think 3 years ago. And there's an old saying about as you get older, you always see each other at weddings and funerals. So, I'm just gonna reach out and say, if you can do anything about that, and make it not just about that, do it. Cause coming down here, I got a hold of my dad and I said, I'm gonna be in town for this, can you meet me for an hour, you know, somewhere, just because I'm gonna be this close, cause I didn't wanna be there, cause she's got cancer too. But just keep that in mind, just don't make it about just that. It sometimes takes an extra little step, but do it.
For sure, yeah. It is good to get together.
Well, some of you've got a long ways to drive.
Unless you're staying another
Unless you're
day.
gonna stay another night.
Appreciate everybody coming.
I don't know how long it'll be before they want to finish
I don't know if they have another one. Thanks for dinner, Dad.
Got mine down.